Welcome to the Fuller Tracy Money Audio Commentary. This is Owen Tracy recording, and it's 3:45 p.m. that is Central Time, and today is January 16th. And today being Friday, it's the big picture long-term audio and video for the various different asset classes. Well, I thought we'd kick off and look at the dollar index because it's steadying. And this is the Bloomberg Dollar Index, which is gaining more credence among investors because it has a greater weighting in the renminbi and the rupee. So it's more representative of where global trade really is. But that is certainly also firming from the lower side of its range. Now we have a higher reaction low around the 1200 level. So it's raising important questions. Is this a distribution or is it support building? And I think that is going to be one of the big topics of conversation for 2026. Now, this has been an eventful week because we have had several of the important stock markets around the world making new all-time highs. Banking profits have been a bit mixed, but certainly we've had shares like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley pushing on to new all-time highs as well. Then on the geopolitical front, it seems like every day has a new headline. And maybe we should really just take a step back and think about how much of that is kite flying exercises to try and figure out what kind of policy is going to appeal to the base, and really put into perspective the most important things that are really going to be important, or I guess the things that will move markets. One is yields. Second is the dollar and the performance of the stock market. If any of those break, then you, I think, can be quite confident that the demeanor of President Trump will improve quite significantly and he'll become a lot more pliable and friendlier to markets. But as long as everything is going his way on the markets side, well, then he pretty rightfully believes that he's getting a free pass from the market and he'll do whatever he wants. So I think that I was listening to a podcast on the way to tennis last night, and one thing that they were talking about was that there's no moral compass. And that perhaps is one of the more important points here, that when we look at the MAGA movement, it's not driven by morality. It's driven by self-interest. And of course, self-interest is probably a more raw emotion than morality. Because what we'll often see in geopolitics is that the self-interest is just caked over with a layer of morality, and that kind of rings hollow. What I think we have primarily with the Trump administration is naked self-interest, and that actually is a lot easier to parse out what exactly is going on if you take it at purely face value. I think one of the most important characteristics that we have in the world today is that we're not used to taking things at face value. But as technical analysts and looking at the reality of the world through the lens of price, well, then we are conditioned to look at things just as they are. So I think that is the kind of the foundation of where I'd like to take this discussion of the longer term, and just simply look at the consistency of the charts and really look at where that is pointing towards. Now, when we think about the Bloomberg Dollar Index, it has found support at 1200 for several occasions over the last 4 years, and it's firming right now. So then if we look at this on a longer term basis, what we're presented with really is a very lengthy range, and that range is 12 years